welcome back to my channel. I'm Huck. We're here today to start a new project. This is my TBR Clear Out Round 2 bonus round. So if you didn't see my last video, I finished my TBR Clear Out project that was planned to be a full year project, kind of sprinkled in throughout the year. I finished it in the first 6 months, which I am so pleased with, but I was like, well, now I have extra time, I can just keep going. If you're not familiar with what my TBR Clear Out project is, I will link my last video and the original video that I made at the beginning of the year explaining it in the description. But essentially, this is something that I do every couple of years where I just take the books that have been on my physical TBR the longest and turn those into my TBR for the year to make a concerted effort to get through those books for a few reasons, but mainly one, to just make sure that I am actually getting to the books on my physical TBR so they don't just sit there for years and years, because theoretically these are all books that at one time I was excited about, and so I want to get to them. And the other reason is to refresh my TBR, because although I was excited about them at one point, my tastes change. Sometimes I am excited about a book and then I find out more about it and realize maybe it's not for me. So I want to get these books off of my physical TBR, just make a decision about them one way or another, and refresh my TBR to make sure that it is still, you know, aligned with my current tastes and interests. Books can come off this TBR multiple ways. I can read the books, I can DNF the books, or I can just unhaul the books, which means that I don't even try reading them. It's not a DNF. I just admit to myself I'm never actually going to read it and I should let it go. So I started this year with the 10 books that had been on my physical TBR the longest, 1 that I bought in 2020 and 9 that were from 2021. But now that those are all off of my shelf, we can move on to my 2022 books. This year, I've actually already read a few books off of my 2022 physical TBR, and the ones that I have read from 2022, for the most part, have been fantastic, which makes me very optimistic about how 2022 TBR Clear Out is going to go. I am hoping for fewer DNFs because round 1 had a lot of DNFs in it, but I am feeling very optimistic about round 2. So I have 8 books to talk about. Let's get into it. I'm going to start with the book that I am currently reading. So this is going to be I'm going to be finishing this in July, which is Song of Blood and Stone by L. Penelope. I have been meaning to get to this for years. Honestly, this is one that originally caught my eye because the cover is so beautiful, and in particular, I just really love this font, but also the magic in this. People who wield magic are called earth singers, which I love a good earthy magic system. So like it spoke to me, you know? So I've been meaning to get to this one forever. I am about halfway through right now and I am really enjoying it. Okay, now we're going to go through the other 7 books for this project, but going from least interested to most interested. So we're starting out with A Half-Built Garden by Ruth Anna Emrys. This is a sci-fi that I have heard described as like literary sci-fi, which kind of appeals to me. You all know sci-fi is a genre that I have been trying to get more into. There are some sci-fi here and there that I enjoy, but it's not really a go-to genre for me, and I'm still trying to figure out what do I like in sci-fi. But the idea of a more literary sci-fi does sound like that might be more up my alley, which is what originally drew me to this. And yet I have never picked it up. It's just one of those books that I kind of forget about, and because sci-fi is just not a genre that I reach for regularly, so I have to really intentionally be like, you need to read sci-fi. So this project will certainly be my incentive to get to this book, but it is the one that I am probably least excited about on this list, but still interested. Like, I still want to give it a shot. Next is The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. This is an Arthurian retelling, and we all know I love a good Arthurian retelling, but Arthurian retellings can be very hit or miss for me. So when I love them, I love them. But finding an Arthurian retelling that I love can be a little few and far between. So it's a little bit of a gamble to read an Arthurian retelling for me. Also, I tend to like ones that are a little more Arthurian adjacent. So they are not really about the main, like King Arthur, Lancelot, Guinevere, and like Camelot. I like the ones that are kind of adjacent or reinterpretations of adjacent stories. And I think that this one is more centered on like King Arthur and Lancelot. So I'm not sure if that's gonna work for me. Also, this is towards the bottom because I believe this is a more like, I believe it's a more military focused historical fiction, and like, I'm just not a military person. That's not that interesting to me. So I really want to give it a shot because this is one that, like, if you say Arthurian retelling, people always recommend this, so I have to try it. But there are a lot of elements that I just think are not going to be my taste. Next is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is another case where I think that this just may not be my taste. I bought this while I was in a reading slump, and sometimes while I am in reading slumps, I make weird decisions about what books to buy because I'm kind of desperate, be like, I need to find something. And this was a book, you know, a lot of people were talking about at the time. But I am interested in it, especially because people seem to love the like lead female character in this, and I do like some like Norse inspired fantasy, so those things definitely appeal to me and are why like I do want to give this a try. I just, from reviews, I just have a feeling that this may not be an author for me. I have heard that his books are more like action focused and are very combat heavy, and those are just things that I personally am not as interested in. So I'm gonna give it a shot, but I'm not sure if this is gonna be quite a hit for me, but I'm gonna go in with an open mind and hope for the best. Next is Kekai by Vaishnavi Patel. This is a retelling of the character Kekai from the Ramayana, which is a ancient Indian epic. And Kekai is usually a character who is vilified, but this is telling her backstory, her perspective, and kind of fleshing out her character. I've heard some very mixed reviews for this. Some people have really loved it, some people really didn't, some people also didn't really like the representation of the character and this reinterpretation of it. But since I have this book, I want to give it a shot. I actually did start listening to the audiobook a few months ago, and I was enjoying it, but then my loan from Libby ran out, and so I have to wait for my audiobook to come back to continue on. Now we're on to the top 3 books that I am most interested in from this list. Number 3 being Lancelot by Giles Christian. This is another Arthurian retelling, so could be very hit or miss. Also, as you may tell from the title, it's about Lancelot, who I've already established I'm not that interested in Lancelot as a character. However, this is another one that I see just so frequently recommended if you at all like Arthurian retellings. And in particular, this one, I have heard great things about the writing and how just beautiful but not overdone the writing is. And I love beautiful writing, and I am just hoping that I will love this. I get good vibes from this one, and I have a feeling that like if any book can sell me on Lancelot, it'll be this one. We'll hope. Number 2 is Clan of the Cave Bear by Jean M. Auel. This is a historical fiction that I have been meaning to read for years. Mainly this is number 2 just because of the number of years that I have been meaning to read this, and I need to get to it. And coming in at number 1, this may be no surprise, but it is The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper. This is another book that I have been meaning to read for a few years now. It was on my like top 10 books to read last year, didn't do it. It's on my top 5 books to read this year, and I have to get to it. So if I read this, it'll count towards both my top 5 TBR and my TBR Clear Out Project. So it's even more incentive to read it. but it is one that I really do think I'm going to like this. I have heard fantastic things about this series, and I just really, really, really need to get to it. I think this in particular, this is a case where I think I am going to like this book so much that I keep putting off reading it. Maybe because I'm a little scared that I won't actually like it as much as I think, and maybe a little bit because I'm like, I think I'm going to love it, and so I have to be like, it has to be the perfect moment to read it. You know, I have to be in the perfect mindset and whatever. It is never a perfect moment, you know? I am a mood reader, but sometimes it's like, there is never going to be a perfect moment. If it is truly a great book, any moment is a good moment to read it. So I really, really, really want to get to this. Also, this author has another book coming out this year that I'm very interested in, but I have to at least read this one before I can read that one, because I'm not gonna buy 2 books from the same author if I haven't even read a single book by that author before. So that's another motivation. So those are all the books for my TBR Clear Out bonus round. I would love to know if you've read any of these books. Like, do you think that any of these books should move up in my estimation or excitement? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye.